Hey, my name's Finn Garrett. I'm 29 years old and I live on a houseboat in Duluth, Minnesota. Yeah, you heard that right. Not in a house, on a boat. A 40-foot sundowner that my grandpa left me when he passed 3 years back. She's docked year-round at Canal Park Marina, right where Lake Superior smacks into the shipping channel. It's not fancy. The hull needs paint. The deck creaks like an old man's knees, and the heater sounds like it's about to give up every time the temp drops below freezing. But she's mine, paid off, no landlord, no mortgage. Just me, the lake, and the occasional seagull that thinks my coffee mug is a toilet. I run a boat repair shop about 50 feet from my slip, Garrett Marine Repair. The sign's hand-painted, half-faded, but the locals know me. I fix engines mostly, inboards, outboards, the old two strokes that refuse to die. Winter's my busy season. Winterizing boats, replacing fuel lines, patching hulls before the ice sets in. I learned most of it in the Navy. 4 years as a mechanic on a carrier. Got out and came back here when my little sister Maya died. She was 19, art student, killed by a drunk driver who happened to be some state senator's nephew. Kid got 6 months for reckless driving. His family had connections, a judge uncle, a lawyer on retainer who could sell ice to Eskimos. Maya got a headstone, and I got a hatred for people who think money puts them above the law. So yeah, I keep my head down, fix what's broken, and spend my nights on the water. Most people don't bother me, and I don't bother them. That's how I like it. Quiet, predictable, no surprises. That all changed on a freezing October night when someone showed up at my dock, looking like the world was about to swallow her whole. It was just past 9:45 when I heard the footsteps. I was on the back deck tightening a clamp on the fuel line, hands numb despite the work gloves, breath coming out in clouds. The marina was dead quiet that time of year. Most of the summer boats were already pulled and wrapped, and the few live aboards like me were buttoned up inside keeping warm. So when I heard boots on the wooden planks, quick and uneven like someone was running but trying not to, I looked up. She was standing at the edge of my slip, soaked to the bone. The streetlight behind her made her look like a ghost, all sharp edges and shadows. She had on a long black coat, the kind you see on businesswomen in Minneapolis, but it was trashed, mud on the hem, a tear at the shoulder. Her hair was plastered to her face, dark blonde, maybe light brown, hard to tell in the rain. She was breathing hard, clutching a small backpack to her chest like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Her eyes found mine, and I swear I saw the same look Maya had the night she called me crying after that guy followed her home from campus. Pure fear. "I need somewhere to hide for 48 hours, she said. Her voice was steady, but just barely. No questions. "I can pay you $10,000 cash." I set down the wrench, stood up slow so I wouldn't spook her. The rain was coming down sideways now, drumming on the boat's roof like a snare drum. "Lady, I don't know what kind of trouble you're in, but I don't take cash from strangers." She stepped closer, and that's when I saw the cuts on her hands, fresh, still bleeding a little. "Please, I don't have anywhere else to go." I should have said no, should have told her to call the cops, find a hotel, figure it out on her own. But something about the way she stood there, shaking but not backing down, reminded me too much of Maya, and I couldn't walk away from that. "Get inside before you freeze to death," I said, nodding toward the cabin door. "We'll talk." She didn't hesitate, just climbed aboard like she'd done it 100 times, even though I could tell she hadn't. The boat rocked under her weight, and she grabbed the rail to steady herself. I followed her in, shutting the door behind us and twisting the lock out of habit. Inside, the cabin was warm, almost too warm. The little diesel heater in the corner was working overtime, and the windows were fogged up thick. She stood in the middle of the galley, dripping onto the linoleum, eyes darting around like she was cataloging exits. The place isn't much. A kitchen that's really just a counter and a 2-burner stove, a booth-style table with cracked vinyl seats, and a couch that doubles as my bed most nights. Books stacked everywhere, tools on the counter, a framed photo of Grandpa and me on the wall from back when the boat was new. "Sit," I said, pointing at the booth. "I'll get you a towel." She sat, but she didn't let go of the backpack. I grabbed a towel from the tiny bathroom, tossed it to her, then put the kettle on. "My mama raised me right. You don't let someone freeze while you interrogate them." She dried her face, her hands, but her eyes never left me. "So," I said, leaning against the counter, arms crossed, "you gonna tell me why someone's willing to drop 10 grand to hide on a stranger's boat?" Or do I have to guess? She swallowed hard, fingers twisting the edge of the towel. My name's Harper Calloway. I'm a forensic accountant from Minneapolis. I found something I wasn't supposed to find. And now the people I found it on want to make sure I don't talk. Keep going. She took a breath and it all came out. She worked for a firm called North Point Financial, mid-size, corporate clients, clean reputation. 3 months ago, she got assigned to audit a nonprofit, some charity fund run by a judge's wife. Except the numbers didn't add up. $40 million moving through shell companies, fake vendor invoices, wire transfers to offshore accounts. She dug deeper, found her boss's name all over it. Richard Voss, old money, connected, untouchable. She'd reported it to the FBI. Was supposed to testify in 48 hours at the field office in Minneapolis. But 4 hours ago, someone ran her off the road on Highway 61. She barely got away. Dumped her car, bought a burner phone, and hitched a ride north. She wound up in Duluth because it was far enough from the city and small enough to disappear. The kettle screamed. I poured 2 cups of instant coffee, slid one across to her. She wrapped her hands around it like it was a lifeline. Why not go to the cops here? I asked. Because Voss's family has reach. Lawyers, judges, politicians. I don't know who I can trust. The FBI agent I'm supposed to meet, Morales, he's the only one I trust. He knew my dad. Your dad? She nodded. He was a whistleblower. Pharmaceutical company fraud case. It destroyed him. I became an accountant because I wanted to be the one who follows the money. The one who doesn't back down. I stared at her. She wasn't lying, I could tell. People who lie don't shake like that. And the mention of her dad, the way her voice cracked, that was real. Here's the deal, I said. You can stay. 48 hours. But I'm not taking your money. And if anyone comes looking, you do exactly what I say. Understood? She looked at me like I'd just told her the sky was green. Why would you help me? I picked up my mug, took a sip. Let's just say, I've got a thing about rich people who think they're above the law. She didn't push it, just nodded, and for the first time since she showed up, her shoulders dropped an inch. Thank you. I showed her to the V berth, the only real bedroom on the boat. It's tiny, just a bed shaped like a triangle that fits into the bow, but it's got a door and a porthole. I gave her one of my old Navy sweatshirts and some thermal socks. Told her the bathroom was the size of a closet, but the water was hot. She stood in the doorway, holding the clothes like they were made of gold. I'll be right outside if you need anything, I said. Okay. I closed the door, went back to the galley, and sat down hard. What the hell had I just agreed to? 48 hours. That's all. 2 days, then she'd be gone and my life would go back to normal. I pulled out my phone, thought about calling my buddy Leo, who worked private security but decided against it. The less people knew, the better. That night, I barely slept. The couch was lumpy as always, but that wasn't the problem. Every sound had me on edge. The wind rattling the halyards, footsteps on the far dock, a car door slamming in the parking lot. Around 3 in the morning, I heard her moving around in the V berth, the creak of the bed, the soft sound of crying she was trying to muffle. I didn't knock. Some things you gotta let people work through alone. By the time the sun came up, pale and cold over the lake, I'd made a decision. Harper Calloway wasn't just some stranger anymore. She was someone I was gonna protect, no matter who came looking. And that's exactly what I did. The next morning came in cold and gray, the kind of November day where the lake and the sky blend into one big sheet of nothing. I woke up to the smell of coffee, which was weird because I hadn't made any. I sat up on the couch, neck stiff, and saw Harper in the galley. She was wearing my Navy sweatshirt, sleeves rolled up 3 times, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She'd found the coffee grounds, figured out the ancient percolator, and was standing there staring out the window like she was waiting for something bad to crash through it. "Morning," I said, my voice coming out rough. She turned, startled. "Sorry, I couldn't sleep. Hope you don't mind I made coffee. It's your coffee too now." For the next, I checked my watch. 36 hours anyway. She poured me a mug, handed it over. Her fingers were steadier than last night, but I could still see the fear sitting just behind her eyes. I took a sip. It was strong the way I liked it, which meant she'd been paying attention to something. Maybe the empty can on the counter. We sat at the booth, not talking at first. Just the sound of the boat creaking, the water slapping the hull. the distant horn from a freighter heading out to open water. I watched her hands wrapped around the mug. The cuts from last night scabbed over now. She caught me looking. "I broke a window," she said quietly. "When I got out of my car after they ran me off the road. Had to climb through. Smart. Didn't feel smart. Felt like I was gonna die, but you didn't. You made it here." She nodded, but didn't look convinced. That's when my phone buzzed on the table. Unknown number. I let it ring out. 2 seconds later, it buzzed again. Same number. Harper's face went white. "Answer it," she whispered. I swiped. Yeah, a man's voice. Smooth, professional. "Is this Finn Garrett?" "Who's asking?" "My name's Clayton Voss. I believe you have something that belongs to me." My blood went cold, but I kept my voice flat. "Don't know what you're talking about." He laughed, low and ugly. "Sure you don't. Let me be clear. The woman you're harboring is a thief. She stole proprietary documents from my company, and I want them back. Send her out, and we'll forget this ever happened." Harper was shaking her head, mouthing, "No, no, no." I leaned back, made my voice bored. "Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on that. Lose this number." I hung up. Harper looked like she was about to throw up. "He knows," she said. "He knows I'm here. He's guessing. Trying to rattle you? But what if he's not?" I stood up, walked to the window. The marina was quiet. Just a few gulls picking at trash near the dumpster. Old Gus's boat 2 slips over with the lights off. Nothing out of place. But my gut was screaming that something was coming. "Here's what we're gonna do," I said. "You stay below deck. Don't show your face. I'm gonna make some calls, see if I can get us some backup." "Backup?" "I've got a buddy, Leo. Ex-Navy, works private security now. He owes me." I called Leo, stepped out onto the back deck so Harper wouldn't hear all of it. He picked up on the 3rd ring, sounding half asleep. "This better be good, Garrett. I need advice. Off the record." "I'm listening." I gave him the short version. Woman, federal witness, powerful people looking for her. 48 hours till her FBI meeting. He was quiet for a long time. "You're in over your head," he finally said. "If they tracked her to Duluth, they've got resources. Hacked phones, credit cards, maybe even facial recognition if they've got the right connections. So what do I do?" "Go dark. No calls, no internet. Stay on the boat. And Finn, if they show up, don't be a hero. Call the cops." "Yeah, thanks." I hung up, stood there watching the water. The thing about Lake Superior, it's unpredictable. Calm 1 minute, swells high enough to flip a boat the next. Kind of like the situation I was in. When I went back inside, Harper was pacing. She'd cleaned the galley, wiped down the counters, reorganized the shelf with the canned goods. Nervous energy pouring out of her. "You don't have to do that," I said. "I need to do something or I'll lose my mind." Fair enough. We spent the rest of the morning in this weird kind of limbo. She found my old guitar in the closet, asked if I played. I told her badly, and she laughed, actually laughed, and made me prove it. I played a butchered version of Springsteen's "I'm on Fire," and she covered her ears, still smiling. It felt good, normal, like we weren't hiding from people who wanted her dead. Around noon, she made sandwiches from what little I had in the fridge. Bologna, mustard, bread that was only a day past the expiration date. We ate them on the couch, her legs tucked under her, and that's when she started talking, really talking. "My dad was a project manager at a pharmaceutical company," she said, staring at her sandwich. "He found out they were faking trial data for a diabetes drug. People were dying. He reported it, went to the FDA, did everything right, and they buried him. Fired him, blacklisted him, dragged his name through the mud. My parents got divorced because of the stress. He drinks now, lives in a trailer park in Wisconsin. I became an accountant because I thought if I had credentials, letters after my name, I'd be untouchable. Guess I was wrong." "You weren't wrong," I said. "You just pissed off the wrong people." Story of my life. I told her about Maya then. The whole thing. How she called me a week before it happened. Said some guy had been following her after class. I told her to report it, get a restraining order, do it by the book. She did, it didn't matter. Brandon Hartley, the senator's nephew, ran a red light going 70 in a 35, T-boned her at an intersection. She died before the ambulance got there. He got 6 months in county, served 3. His uncle was a federal judge. His dad played golf with the DA. Harper reached over, put her hand on mine. "I'm sorry." "Yeah, me too." We sat like that for a while, her hand warm on mine, the boat rocking gently. For a second, I forgot why she was there. For a second, it was just 2 people who'd been screwed over by the same broken system. finding something like comfort in the quiet. Then the power went out. The lights cut, the heater stopped humming, everything went dead. Harper jumped up, eyes wide. What happened? I went to the window. The whole marina was dark. That's not normal. We don't lose power out here unless it's a storm. And the sky was clear. My phone rang. Gus, I picked up. Finn, 2 guys just came by my boat. Said they were from the power company, checking the lines. I told them to screw off. You got trouble? Yeah, thanks for the heads up. I hung up, looked at Harper. We need to move. Now. Where? Out onto the lake. We'll anchor offshore till your meeting time. She went pale. Finn, I can't. I told you I can't swim. I almost drowned when I was a kid. I can't. Hey. I grabbed her shoulders, made her look at me. I've sailed through storms that would make your head spin. I know this lake. I'll keep you safe. She was shaking, but she nodded. We moved fast. I fired up the engine, untied the lines, and backed out of the slip just as I saw headlights sweep into the marina parking lot. A black SUV, windows tinted, moving slow like it was hunting. Harper ducked below deck, and I pushed the throttle forward. The boat lurched, cutting through the dark water toward open lake. Behind us, I heard shouting. Then the roar of another engine. I looked back and saw a speedboat coming after us. 2 guys in the front, one pointing. They weren't cops. Cops would have had lights. Hold on, I yelled. I steered hard to port, heading for rougher water near the shipping channel. The waves picked up, 3 feet, then 4, the boat slamming into each one. I heard Harper yelp from below, but I couldn't stop. The speedboat was gaining. Whoever was driving it didn't know what they were doing, but they were fast. Then I saw it. The sandbar off Wisconsin Point. I knew it like the back of my hand. Had run aground on it once when I was 16 and stupid. I steered straight for it, waited till the last second, then cut hard to starboard. The Sundowner's shallow draft carried us over. The speedboat wasn't so lucky. I heard the crunch of fiberglass on sand, the engine choking and dying. I didn't slow down till we were a mile out, anchored in a cove where the trees hid us from shore. When I killed the engine, the silence was so thick I could hear my own heartbeat. Harper came up from below, face pale, gripping the rail. We made it. Yeah, we made it. She looked at me, then at the dark water around us, then back at me. You're insane, probably, but you're still breathing. She laughed, this shaky, breathless sound, and then she was crying. Not loud, just tears streaming down her face. I pulled her close, let her bury her face in my chest, and I held her while she fell apart. The boat rocked under us, the stars came out overhead, and somewhere in the distance, I heard the Coast Guard horn cutting through the night. 36 hours to go, and I'd burn the whole damn lake down before I let anyone touch her. We stayed out on that water till dawn broke, cold and pink over the Wisconsin shoreline. Papa finally fell asleep around 4 in the morning, curled up on the couch under every blanket I owned. I kept watch from the captain's chair, coffee in hand, eyes scanning the dark for any sign of lights coming our way. Nothing, just the lap of waves against the hull and the occasional groan of the boat settling. When the sun came up, she stirred, rubbed her eyes, and looked around like she'd forgotten where she was. For a second, her face was soft, unguarded. Then reality came crashing back. What time is it? She asked. 6:30. We've got about 5.5 hours till your FBI meeting. She sat up, ran her hands through her hair. I look like hell, don't I? You look alive. That's what matters. She tried to smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. I called Leo while she was in the bathroom, splashing water on her face. He picked up on the first ring. Tell me you didn't do anything stupid last night, he said. Define stupid. He sighed. Where are you? Anchored off Wisconsin Point. They came after her. Leo, hired guys in a speedboat. I lost them, but this is bigger than I thought. Listen to me. You need to get her to that FBI meeting, but you can't just roll up to the federal building. Too exposed. I'll set something up, public place, lots of people. Mall of America, food court. I'll have 2 plainclothes guys nearby just in case. Noon sharp. Can you make it? Yeah, we'll be there. And Finn, don't play hero. Get her there, let the feds handle it, and walk away. I hung up without answering that last part. Walking away wasn't something I did well, especially not now. Harper came out of the bathroom, face scrubbed clean, wearing the same jeans and my sweatshirt. She looked younger without all the fear weighing on her. Or maybe I was just seeing her different now. Leo's got a plan, I said. We're meeting your FBI guy at the Mall of America. Public, crowded, safe. We leave in an hour. She nodded, then looked out at the water. I never thanked you. For any of this? You don't have to. Yes, I do. You didn't know me, didn't owe me anything, and you still put yourself in the line of fire. Why? I thought about it, about Maya, about all the people who look the other way when someone powerful decides the rules don't apply to them. Because someone should have done it for my sister, and they didn't. Her eyes got shiny, but she blinked it back. When this is over, what happens? To us, I mean. We motored back to the marina, tied up quick, and I grabbed the keys to my truck. It was an old Ford, more rust than paint, but it ran. Harper climbed in, backpack on her lap, and we headed south on Highway 61. The drive was quiet at first, just the hum of the engine and the radio playing some old Tom Petty song. The trees blurred past, red and gold. The last holdouts before winter stripped them bare. About an hour in, I pulled off at a little diner in Hinckley, one of those places with a pie, case by the register and coffee that tastes like it's been sitting since yesterday. Harper looked at me like I was crazy. We've got time, I said, and you need to eat something that's not canned soup. Inside, it smelled like bacon grease and maple syrup. We slid into a booth by the window, and a waitress with a name tag that said, Barb brought us menus and coffee without asking. Harper ordered pancakes, I got eggs and toast, and we sat there like a normal couple on a normal road trip, except her hands were shaking when she picked up the fork. What happens after you testify, I asked. She shrugged. Witness protection, maybe. Or they'll just tell me to keep my head down till the trial. Either way, I'm done with North Point. Done with Minneapolis, probably. Where will you go? I don't know. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere people don't care who my boss was or what I found. Duluth's pretty quiet. She looked up at me and something passed between us. Something unspoken but heavy. Yeah, it is. We finished eating and I paid in cash. Back on the road, the silence felt different, less awkward. More like we were both thinking the same thing but didn't know how to say it. By the time we hit the cities, the traffic thickened, and I had to focus. Harper stared out the window at the skyline, the glass towers reflecting the noon sun. The Mall of America is insane on a good day. But the week before Thanksgiving, it's a zoo. Families, teenagers, tourists taking pictures by the theme park in the center. We parked in the ramp, and I made Harper put on a baseball cap I kept in the truck and a pair of sunglasses. She looked ridiculous, but it was better than nothing. Inside, the noise hit us like a wall. Music, kids screaming, the clatter of the roller coaster overhead. We made our way to the food court on the third level, past stores selling everything from shoes to chocolates shaped like Minnesota. Leo had texted me the meat spot by the orange chicken place near the north entrance. Agent Morales was already there, sitting at a table with a newspaper and 2 coffees. He was older than I expected. Maybe mid-50s, gray hair, kind eyes, the kind of guy who looks like he's seen too much but still gives a damn. He stood when he saw Harper, and she practically ran to him. Mr. Morales, she said, voice cracking. Harper. He pulled her into a hug, quick and fatherly. You okay? I am now. He looked at me over her shoulder. You must be Finn. Leo filled me in. Thank you for keeping her safe. Just doing what's right. We sat down, and Harper pulled the USB drive from her backpack, handed it over like it was a live grenade. Morales pocketed it, slid a manila folder across to her. This is your statement, pre-typed from what you sent me. Sign it and we're good. Clayton Voss is going to be arrested by 2 p.m. today. We've got warrants, froze his accounts, the whole 9. You did it, Harper. You took down a major fraud ring. She signed with shaking hands, and I saw the tension drain out of her shoulders. It's really over? It's over. For the first time in days, she smiled. A real one. Morales stood. I need to get this back to the office. You're free to go, but stay available. We'll need you for the trial, probably spring. I will, thank you. He shook my hand, nodded at Leo's guys who I hadn't even noticed blending into the crowd, and walked off. Harper turned to me, eyes bright. We did it. You did it. I just drove the getaway boat. She laughed, and it was the best sound I'd heard in weeks. Come on, let's get out of here before I start crying in public. We were halfway to the escalator when I saw him. Clayton Voss, standing by the railing near the movie theater. No bodyguards, no lawyers, just him in a wrinkled suit looking like a man who'd lost everything. Our eyes met, and he started walking toward us. Fast. Harper, I said quietly. Don't turn around. Just keep walking. But she did turn, and she froze. Finn, that's him. I know. Stay behind me. Voss closed the distance, and that's when I saw the gun. Small, tucked into his waistband, but his hand was on it. People were everywhere, kids with balloons, couples holding shopping bags, and this lunatic was about to pull a piece in the middle of a mall. "Harper Calloway?" he called out, voice loud enough to turn heads. "You destroyed my life." Security was nowhere. Leo's guys were too far. It was just me, and I wasn't armed. Wasn't trained for this, but I wasn't about to let him touch her. I stepped in front of Harper, hands up. "Voss, listen to me. You pull that gun, you're done. Every cop in the state will be on you in seconds. Let her go. Get yourself a lawyer. Maybe you can cut a deal." He laughed, wild-eyed. "A deal? My father disowned me this morning. My wife left. My accounts are frozen. I've got nothing left because of her. Then don't make it worse." His hand twitched toward the gun. I didn't think. I just moved. 4 years in the Navy, they teach you how to disarm someone. And muscle memory kicked in. I grabbed his wrist, twisted hard, and the gun clattered to the floor. He swung at me, caught me in the jaw, and I went down hard. The food court erupted in screams. Harper was yelling, security was running, and I was on my back looking up at the skylights thinking, this was a really stupid way to die. Then Leo's guys tackled Voss, pinned him down, and it was over. Mall cops swarmed in, real cops right behind them. Someone helped me up, my jaw throbbing, and Harper threw her arms around me. "You idiot," she was crying. "You could have been killed." "Yeah, well, I'm not." They arrested Voss right there. Dragged him off screaming about injustice and conspiracies. Agent Morales came back, took statements, told me I was lucky I didn't get shot. I didn't feel lucky. I felt tired. Outside in the parking ramp, Harper and I sat in the truck, engine off, just breathing. She had her head on my shoulder, my arm around her, and neither of us said anything for a long time. "I have to go into witness protection for a few weeks," she finally said, "just until they're sure there's no blowback." "I know." She pulled back, looked at me. "When I'm done, can I come back? To Duluth, I mean, to you." I wanted to say yes. Wanted to pull her close and promise her everything. But I'd learned a long time ago that wanting something doesn't make it yours. "You don't owe me anything, Harper." "I know. But what if I want to? Then yeah, come back." She kissed me then, soft and quick, and got out of the truck. Agent Morales was waiting by a black SUV, and she walked toward it without looking back. I watched her go, watched the SUV pull out and disappear into traffic, and then I drove home alone. 3 weeks went by like molasses. Thanksgiving came and went. I ate leftover turkey on the boat by myself, fixed a few engines, avoided Gus's questions about where my house guest went. The nights were the worst. The houseboat felt too big, too quiet. I kept expecting to smell coffee in the morning or hear her laugh at some dumb joke. Then, 2 days before Christmas, I was closing up the shop when I heard footsteps on the dock. I looked up and there she was. Harper, standing in the snow with a duffel bag, wearing a green coat I'd never seen. Hair down, cheeks pink from the cold. She smiled, nervous. "Is your offer still good?" "What offer?" "A place to stay." I walked toward her, boots crunching on the snow. "Depends. How long you planning to stay?" She set the bag down. "As long as you'll have me." I kissed her right there on the dock, snowflakes melting on her face. "Then forever works." We went inside and she unpacked, not like a guest, but like someone coming home. She cooked dinner, we ate on the couch, her feet tucked under my legs. And the houseboat didn't feel empty anymore. It felt right. 6 months later, we were still there. She worked remote, consulting on fraud cases, and I taught her to swim in the summer lake. We painted the boat blue, her idea, and Gus said we made him sick with all the smiling. Her dad visited once, shook my hand, said thank you for protecting his girl. And on warm nights, we'd sail out to the middle of Superior, and she'd take the wheel, and I'd stand behind her, arms around her waist, thinking about how she came to hide for 48 hours and stayed for a lifetime. Turns out sometimes the people running from trouble run straight into exactly what they need, and I was just lucky enough to be there when she did.